Good morning, everyone. Yes, very good morning. Shall we begin? Today we are talking about the Solution Explorer that works with the word wiki. When you click on the OK button, Visual Studio also creates a console application project for you, and that displays the content of the project in the Solution Explorer window. That is, what we display is the Solution Explorer window that contains the properties, references, coding, everything. And by default, a newly created console application references the assemblies, system, system.data, and system.xml. And we also need to add a reference to the Word 2003 PIA. To do this, by right-clicking the reference folder and choosing the Add Reference from the pop-up menu that appears with the reference library with the reference dialog box. So click on the Com tab and also chooses the Word 11.0 object library to add a reference to the Word 2013, and also click on the OK button. So whenever we are using, or whenever we are doing the console application that references assembly systems, that is system.data and the system.xml. So when we use the proper references that have been added to the console application, so let's start writing the code and double click the program.cs in the Solution Explorer window to edit the main source code file for the console application. And if you are outlining the front on, you will see the text using at the top of the program CS file. Over with the file that is displayed or that is used by double clicking on the Solution Explorer and use the main source code for the console application. So, what is a console application? That is using the C++, C# or the C programming. In this, it is using the VBA. It is using the common functionality for the Office application, for the core application, that is the object model for the toolbar and the placed. And add the following three directives that is using so that you can easily move the objects from Word PIA and the Microsoft Office Core PIA. Using system, Microsoft Office Core, using Word, office.interrupt. Then using system.input output. This is a Solution Explorer, Word Wiki, properties, references, that is Microsoft Office.core, Office standalone, system, system.data, system.xml. So whenever you add the Word 2003 PIA, the dependent PIA references are automatically added to the project. And we alias some of these namespaces, so we do not have to type the entire namespace, such as a Microsoft Office.interrupt.word every time we want to declare a Word object. And with the alias in place, we can just type the word to specify with the namespace. And we keep an alias namespace in place for the Word and Office instead of just typing using Microsoft.office.interrupt.word. And also importing all of the types into a global space or a global scope. So these names are potentially colliding with the types as we define in our code with other reference types, and also for the purpose of this book, this code is also clear when it says Word. And yeah, this is application rather than application. So you know what namespace we'll be using, that is what application type is coming from. It is either the calculation part, Excel part, it is either the numeric part, it is either the presentation part. Which part it is using, which part is coming from over here. So they are colliding with each other, they are using with each other. Now we are going to ready the application process that takes about what namespace the application type is coming from. So we are now ready to write some code that automates the Word to create a table after reading a text input file. And this also shows the entire listing of our program. So rather than to explain every line of code, we also focus on the lines of code that automates the Word. That automates some knowledge of how to read a text file in .NET and also pass a string via split method. And we can also briefly touch on the same objects in the Word object model, that is known as the programming Word, working with the Word objects, events, working with the Word objects. That also covers the Word object model in more detail, in more method that uses with the split method that uses with the programming Word. And the first thing that we do is to declare a new instance. Okay. So when we talk about the working with the events or the word event that is used with the wake objects, that is whatever the objects that they have, so they have been used with object model, with object criteria, object word object. That may be a word object, that may be Excel object, that may be a PowerPoint object. So that effectively cover the word object model in much more detail. And the first thing that we do in this string is to declare a new instance of the word application object by adding this line of code to the main method of our program class. So whatever the program class, whatever the criteria that they have, so that is an interface that is given. So we are allowed to create a new instance of this interface because the compiler knows that the word.application interface is associated with the COM object, and it knows how to start, when to start, and how to make a alteration, that is making the automation executable, creating a new instance of its application object that starts up without showing any windows, and you can also automate the word in its invisible state when we automate the word without confusing the user. For example, this is the tool, this is word.application, the application that is available. So that means we are using the application object that is used with a new word also. So that occupies the space in the memory. That is creating a new instance in the memory that makes a word.application interface that is associated with the COM object, that is string. And you can also automate the words in this invisible state when you want to automate the word without confusing the user by bringing the word window. So without any confusion, they may also make the word show its main window, and we also do so by adding this line of code. This is the application dot visible equals to true. So whatever the window that they have, whatever the application that they have, that will be used with the true, that will be used to create a new empty word document into which it will generate our table. So whatever the true value, whatever the multi-value that is provides, that is used with the collapsed value. The application dot visible equals to true. Now we want to create a new empty word document into which we will generate our table. We do so by calling the add method on the documents collection returned by the word application object. And this add method also takes 4 optional parameters that we want to omit. That is, optional parameter are specified by passing a reference to a variable by containing the special type.missing. So we declare a variable known as a missing that we set to type.missing and pass it by the reference to each parameter that we want to comment. Whatever the parameter they have, that will be omitted by the line of face, that will be omitted by the type.missing. This is object missing equals to type.missing. Word.document, the document, the application document add. So we are adding up with the documents, we are adding up with the value. What are the values that is adding up? That is a reference missing, reference missing, reference missing, reference missing. And with the document being created, we want to read the input text files that is specified by the command line arguments. That is also passed with the console application, and we want to pass that text file also to calculate the number of columns and the rows. And when we know the number of rows in the columns, we use the following lines of the code that will be used to get the range object from the document object. And by passing our missing variable to the optional parameters, this range method will also be used, that will also return a range that includes the entire text of the document. That is the word.range, the document.range, reference missing, reference missing. So whenever we are using the reference missing, that means these documents are well defined with the range object that are adding or using the parameter add to specify that we want to replace the entire content of the document with the table. And we can also specify the number of the rows and the column that we want. So this is the word table. Then range.table add range row count, column count, reference missing. So we can also supply row count, we can also supply column count. And the table object has a cell method that takes a row and a column and also returns a cell object. Now what is a cell? That is a combination of row and column. And this is one of the example that is given with the for loop. For column index equals to 1, that is less than equals to column count, column index plus plus. Then word dot cell, then cell, table dot cell, row index, column index. Then cell row dot range dot text, split row, column index. Whatever the column index that they have, so that is using with the word dot cell, that is using with the table dot cell, with the row index and the column index. And code to set the formatting of the table, that is also done by setting the table to size to fit contents and also bolding the header row that is shown over here, that we use to make the row object as written by the table dot row or as it is used with the table content. So what property that they have a range property also. Next part is the coding. So this is the for loop. For column index equals to 1. So that starts with the 1. That go until the column count. So this is column index is less than greater than or equals to column count. That in column index plus plus. So this is available with the for loop. So word dot cell, then cell, table dot cell, row index, column index. There are two parts, two arguments. There are two parameters over here. One is row index, one is a column index, and there is a cell dot range dot text split row column index, that is splitting out with the code that is used to make the table arrangement, that is used to make as much as possible that is required for this, we can say, header row, that is using the row subject, that against whatever the data that we have used, that is encountered with the first set top dot row or the first row, that returns a table with the table dot row as well. And the range dot bold dot view, that means that object model also expects an int value 0 for false and 1 for true rather than a boolean value. And the bold property does not return a bold because the range of the text could be all bold, all not bold, or partially bold. So it depends, it is either bold, no, either not bold, or it is partially bold. And Word also uses the enumerated constraint WD constraint or WD undefined to specify the partially defined or partially bold case. So the format table dot rows 1, range bold dot equals to 1. Then auto fit behavior, word dot WD auto fit behavior and the auto fit content. The main thing is that we are using the VBA method that is required over here.